Hi everyone, my name is Ariane and welcome to a new video. Today, I will be showing my very ambitious October/spooky season autumn TBR. Ideally, I would love to read all those books in October, but realistically, with me having started school in September, that will never happen. However, those are all the books that in an ideal world I would like to read, and I'm still not set on which ones I will prioritize, so I thought I will show all of them to you. And anyways, what I don't read in October, I will probably read in November because it's still gonna be like winter is coming, so all of these books I'm excited to read. I'm usually not really into spooky season that much. I love autumn, it's my favorite time of the year. I love everything cozy, everything fall themed, but Halloween stuff has never really been my thing. However, that changed last year. Last year I was really into the Halloween vibes, and this year I don't know what has happened, what shift has happened in my brain, but I'm literally obsessed. I want to decorate everything Halloween themed. I want to wear Halloween themed stuff. I want everything Halloween themed, like everything spooky themed. I wanted. So this was reflected a little bit with my TBR for this month/season. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The first book, I actually just started it, so I'll mention it first, and it's the xhex. I think I saw someone's vlog last year where they were reading that book, but I didn't really look into it. And this year I read some more about it and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read it. And it is a spooky romance. It's a romance between witches, so I'm very excited. Yeah, that's basically all I know about it, but that sounded like such a fun concept. Like, it's just a cozy romance but between witches, like super spooky theme. So yeah, I'm very excited to read that. And then I'll show you the one book that I know will be my main priority in October. I'm determined to start and finish it this month, but it will be a huge challenge because it is Plain by the Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, which is a gigantic book. It's over 600 pages. I honestly don't really like when books are over 400, maybe 450 pages. Like anything under 400 pages makes me the happiest. However, I definitely want to read this. I don't know much about it, but I've had it for over a year now, and it's a dark academia. It's sapphic. There's some mystery elements to it. The vibes, the spooky vibes just seem absolutely immaculate. Just the dark academia theme seems to be the best for this time of year. So yes, I wanted to read this in October last year and I didn't because I was too intimidated. And this year, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself because I barely have time to read with school, but I will somehow find a way to make my way through this month. So yeah, this is the same author who wrote The Miseducation of Cameron Post, and that's actually one of my favorite books. I actually really want to reread it probably next summer. So I'm excited to read something else by her because I've never read any other book by her, so this should be interesting. Very excited. I haven't been in a mood for fantasy in a minute, but I think like the colder weather coming back is somehow making me want to read fantasy again. And I thought I should try to read an adult fantasy. And this one, I have owned this book for years, but still haven't read it for some reason, and I'm really excited to read it, so I figured this would be the right time. And it is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. It's the first book. I don't remember if it's a trilogy or if I think it's a trilogy. It's the first book. Like I said, been meaning to read this for years. I just haven't. I know this is about magic, and I don't know how the magic world is built, so I guess I'll learn about it, but I just know that a lot of people enjoy this book, and I still have never read a book by V.E. Schwab, so it would be nice to finally read one. So yeah, this will be my first adult fantasy, so I'm excited to see what I'll think of it, but I have a good feeling about it. I might listen to this on audio, or I might pick up the physical version. We shall see, but that is something that I definitely want to read in the coming weeks slash months. Then another book I want to read, it's not out yet, it's coming out in 5 days. The book is A Dowry of Blood. It's a vampire book. I haven't read like a new vampire story in a long time, so this should be interesting. I think there's some queer elements to it. I am not 100% sure, and it is a polyamorous relationship, which I've never read about, so that should be interesting. But yeah, excited to read that. I also would like to read Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, which is a classic. Classics are usually hard for me to go through. However, I have been definitely more interested in reading classics, and I don't think this is actually spooky, but because of the cover of the version that I bought, it's giving spooky vibes. It's literally just because of the cover. I actually don't know what Wuthering Heights is about, but I want to read it. So this is something else I'll be reading in October. Okay, this is so far from being spooky or autumn themed for that matter, but it's a new release and I definitely want to read it. And it is The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. I read The Spanish Love Deception last year and I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed. So of course I needed to pick up her new book. Honestly, it has nothing to do with the theme of this TBR, but I'll be reading it soon because it just came out and I just really want to read it. And through all those fantasy, classic, dark academia books, I will at some point need a break and need to read a romance. So that's where this one will come in. A lot of the books that I want to read in this cozy season is rereads. The first one I want to reread is definitely a Halloweenish book, and it is Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. Still don't know how to pronounce that, but this is so short. It's a classic novella, and I read it last year. Absolutely adored it. Like I said earlier, classics can be very hard for me to get through. However, this one I did not have any issue getting through it at all. Even if it's short, it was just a really fun time, and I definitely want to reread it and actually annotate it. And yeah, this is something I will reread this month, definitely. Another reread, this one's not really spooky themed, however it's definitely cozy. It gives me cozy vibes, and it is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. I was supposed to read this in September because I was taking part in Books with Chloe's book club thingy, and the book was this book for September, and I was so excited to reread it because last time I read it, first and last time I read it was in 2015, literally 7 years ago. What the hell? And even though I enjoyed it at the time, I know I will love it more this time around, and I'm excited to annotate it, and I'm excited for the beautiful writing. I'm definitely going to appreciate so much more now. So yeah, I want to reread this since I wasn't able to read it in September. It will happen sometime this autumn. And then I think this will be the last book on my TBR because that's already a lot for me, and it will be a reread of a YA fantasy, the Vampire Academy series. So I actually reread the first book in March, and then when spring, I was planning on reading the whole series, but spring came around and I wasn't in the mood anymore. But now I really am. So I think I will. These are such quick reads, so I definitely will be reading multiple of, like many of them, if not by the end of this year, like by the beginning of next year. So yeah, it will be such a nice thing to read in October because, you know, vampires. And yeah, it will be nice to finish this series throughout winter. I'm just really in the mood for this. I'm excited for rereads and I'm excited for vampires. I will stop the video here now, but I hope you enjoyed this little TBR. Maybe it gave you some ideas of what to read this autumn. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!